Good afternoon, sports fans. 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock on the West Coast. Welcome to another edition of And That's the Game. I'm Matt Gillis, your daily bite at the biggest stories in sports. And we come on the air today with the NHL in a bit of a pickle as they try to figure out how and where the NHL season is going to start. We also are now looking at the fact that with the rising number of COVID cases that have been happening, many of the NHL teams are now trying to figure out how to play their seasons outdoors. The Boston Bruins, for example, have said they might be potentially looking at hosting a number of games outdoors this season. Now, the evolution of hockey, the origination of the game, came from the ponds. And I had a lucky opportunity a couple of years ago to attend a Stadium Series game between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And I can honestly tell you that it was an absolutely great experience and the way I think in which the game should be played. But COVID-19 has been affecting every sport across the board, whether it's been college football, whether it's been college basketball, whether it's been the NHL, the NBA, which should be a couple of months into its season, has not even started yet, is just barely starting training camps now. And the NFL had a very interesting situation this past week where the Pittsburgh Steelers Baltimore Ravens game was supposed to be played on Thanksgiving night. It ended up getting moved to Sunday afternoon. They didn't play it then. It ended up getting moved to Tuesday. They didn't play it then. It ended up getting moved to 3:40 p.m. yesterday. And they finally played it. Without Lamar Jackson, RG3 gets hurt midway through the game. And you had this kind of ragtag cast of characters that finished it out. One way or another, the Pittsburgh Steelers still came out of it and moved on to 11-0. In the midst of yesterday and all of that breaking as more schedules in the NFL got shifted around, we broke an article on sfbnri.com written by Nick LeBlanc, one of our senior writers and the host of Titletown Throwdown. And because of that article breaking and everything that is going on within the NFL schedules, I thought there was no better person to explain what in the God's name is going on in the NFL than Nick LeBlanc himself. And so we welcome Nick LeBlanc to the show. Nick, welcome.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me once again. Appreciate it.
So what in the world is going on in the NFL?
I have no clue. It's just one rescheduling after another. So here's what's going on, all because of the Ravens outbreak. Tonight's scheduled Thursday night football game between the Ravens and the Cowboys that's now done played on Monday night at 5 o'clock prior to the Bills at the 49ers or Bills at 49ers at Arizona. Let's get that perfectly clear.
And that's because there is a restriction.
There's a 3-week ban on contact sports in Santa Clara County, where the 49ers happen to call home. Go figure. Yeah. But anyway, though, the Niners, they're the least of everyone's concern right now. They have their own concerns. And then Sunday's scheduled game, then the Washington football team at the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's now going to be played by itself on Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. So week 13, again, doesn't begin on time. It won't end on time either. But, you know, next week's from Sunday to Tuesday, it's going to be a lot of football. You got a day out to recover. They got the Thursday night Rams at Patriots or Patriots at Rams.
In an awkward and interesting way, I do have to say that I slightly appreciate the fact that there is like a football game every single day, because then if you slot in the Friday night college football games and then the games on Saturday, we literally have a football game every single day through the week. And usually, and there's at least one of them that's pretty good. It's a really weird situation to be in, but such is 2020. The Baltimore Ravens played last night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a game that was, as I mentioned, postponed 3 times before it finally got played. And I honestly don't even know who finished the game at quarterback for the Ravens.
Trace McSorley.
I do, but I'm making that statement facetiously in saying, like, if you don't follow the NFL very much, Trace McSorley comes into the game and you're like, who? From where?
It threw a nice pass, and then Hollywood Brown did the rest.
He had a very quick, 70-yard bomb to kind of like get things started for the Ravens, and then obviously Pittsburgh just turned everything over. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 11-0. The New Orleans Saints are 9-2. The New York Jets are 0, and who cares? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers really that good, or am I right and that they have just played a cupcake schedule?
I think you can look at it both ways. I mean, here's the thing. The Steelers are led by a veteran quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, who's won 2 Super Bowls, mind you. Very early in his career, then he's had injury history the last dozen years. Besides that, though, they're led by a quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. Mike Tomlin, he doesn't take any opponent lightly, regardless of their record. I mean, the Cowboys nearly beat them. A beat-up Ravens team back in week, 7 when they played? Week 7, week 8? They nearly lost to them. So the Steelers have had some very close games this year, so it just comes down to leadership, but at the same time, you're also playing the NFC East, or as I call it, the NFC least, because every team in that division just blows.
It's a dumpster fire. The whole entire division, it's its own dumpster fire.
Yeah, so when you're playing four of the worst teams in football, plus the Bengals twice here, there's 6 easy games right there. Yeah, it's a combination of, they're not taking opponents lightly. They've won games and that they probably should have lost. But at the same time, they also have had a very cream puff type of schedule. It's like the Patriots schedule from basically the entire 20 years of Brady's run, just a cupcake schedule. Just sometimes Patriots couldn't beat the teams that they should have beaten.
I opened up the show remarking about the announcement from the NHL regarding the fact that there are several teams asking about playing outdoor games. The Bruins are talking about playing a large part of their season outdoors. You're shaking your head. We've had a Winter Classic at Fenway. We've had other outdoor games. What's your thought on a potential first couple of months of the season being outdoors, and where should they play?
I'm not a fan of really them playing outdoors. I don't know how it'll work. I mean, preferably maybe Fenway Park should stay within the Boston proximity. You don't want to be going all the way out to Foxborough, because the Patriots, their final home game is January 3rd. It's going to take them roughly 2 weeks to get the quote unquote ice ready, and we don't know when fans are going to be allowed really at either Gillette or Fenway. Hopefully very soon at a limited capacity of some sort. But if they do decide to play outdoors for, say, the first couple of months, rather see them play at Fenway, closer proximity to the TD Garden, so that way when when it is deemed that they can have fans at about, say, 50% capacity at TD Garden, you just pack up all your stuff Fenway and then just drive 30 minutes across the city to Causeway.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Rather than driving an hour and a half from Foxborough to Boston.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Nick LeBlanc, host of Titletown Throwdown Thursday nights on SFBN Rhode Island. Nick, thanks for being on the show today.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Anytime.
And that's the game for December 3rd, 2020. This is a groundbreaking week for us as it is already Thursday. We have one more show this week and then a big announcement. If you did not catch this on our social media yesterday, it kind of spilled out onto SFBN Rhode Island social media. I announced it on my own. Tomorrow's show of And That's the Game and Saturday's show of Sports World Weekly will be the last shows that will be hosted from the remote studio that has been our home for the past 7 months in southern New Jersey. Because while I have been fortunate and blessed to be a part of SFBN Productions, the origination of this network in Philadelphia for the past umpteenth years since 2013, I am moving to the Ocean State and joining SFBN Rhode Island full-time starting fully on January 4th, but we will be broadcasting the last couple of weeks of 2020 and the last couple of weeks of And That's the Game and Sports World Weekly from the Ocean State. So we thank you all who have tuned in, who have helped to grow all of the shows on this network, who have helped to grow the network. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the Ocean State. Take care, stay safe, wear your masks, socially distance, wash your hands. We'll all be in a stadium cheering on our teams very soon. Until then, thank you and good night.